Jags fans, what's going on? It's your boy Ruben, and you know what it is, new week, new video, and I just want to dive in and talk about this, right? So we lose another one. I'm just as pissed as everybody, but I want to talk about some of the dysfunction and some of the problems, right? As though we haven't talked about it enough, right? So for me, obviously it's time to look to next year. I don't know why. I mean, outside, I guess, just maintaining the losing to stay high in the draft at this point, which I hate to say because I'm not a guy that likes to tank. Um, and I don't even think there's a surefire number one to tank for, to be honest with you. So I'm not really about the tanking. I think regardless, we're going to be in the top 10, and I think we'll end up getting a good player or being able to trade down for extra picks, which, I'm on whatever gets talent in here because it's time. This is some bullshit. The O-line's been bad for too long. The quarterback play has been subpar for too long. It's the secondary play. I don't want to say has been bad for too long, but it's we're not good, right? Like what's new for the Jaguars is probably the linebacker play has been subpar too, right? That's new, right? Because we've always had good linebackers. We've always Kevin Hardy's, the Mike Peterson's, the Hardy Nickerson back in the day as well. Daryl Smith, Paul Posluszny. Like we've always had good defenses, right? We've always had not. I don't want to say great defenses, but one thing we've always kind of been able to do is tackle well. Up until right before we got to that Saxonville, when there was really no defense to speak of. Prior to Saxonville, because Derrick Henry started making fools of us for a minute there. But I say all of that to say, what's our identity, guys? That's the problem. What is it that we do? Right? Do we air it out? No. Do we run it well? You would think we do, right? But it's a couple games now we haven't ran the ball well. Do we sack the quarterback? I mean, we thought we were gonna. Do we cover well? Do we tackle well? We're now the national meme of tackling with Saquon hurtling backwards. I'd never seen no shit like that in my life. And so here we are, and there's so many problems that I can't even pin them down to one. But I want to talk Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is an issue. And the reason he is an issue, and I think some of us Jag fans need to come to grips with, right? Because I think we've gotten to the point where we're delusional now, right? So I believe if Mac Jones gets more playing time, I'm not one of these guys that thinks, Mac Jones is better than Trevor Lawrence. That's not what I believe at all. But I believe if Mac Jones starts the rest of the season, we're going to have a more divided fan base because I believe, Mac Jones is a little bit better than what he showed this past weekend. The Vikings are a very good defense, very good against the pass. And this Mac Jones' first start in I don't know how long. And the game plan, it's almost like the offensive game plan. It's like Press Taylor and them have quit on us. Because some of what happened to the creativeness of the offense? Where are the RPOs at? Right? Where are the swing passes? Where are the screens? And in times that make sense. Let me be more clear. Where are the getting guys open so they can make big plays? Where is that happening? Everything looks hard. When did it become this way? Right? And so I think a lot of it has to do with Trevor Lawrence. I think there's real dissension between Trevor Lawrence, the head coach, and the GM. I think the GM hates the head coach. I think the head coach hates the GM. And I think the head coach is starting to hate Trevor Lawrence. I think it's really a thing. And I think it's affecting the way they call plays. So I'm going to point out some things about Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not going to stick by Doug because I think sticking by Press is a fireable offense at this point. He's digging his own. I admire loyalty, but I think he's dug his own grave with that. You're not a defensive guy. We brought you here for your offensive prowess, and you're a good offensive play caller. But then the second you're not calling offensive plays and you're not a defensive guy, what the fuck does Doug do? Anybody? What does he do? Call timeouts? Is he the designated timeout guy? What exactly does he do? So, with that being said, here's the problem with Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not going to say it's not fixable. But going into this year, I thought we were going to be good. And a lot of us did. And the reason we thought we were going to be good was because I thought we fixed enough. I think, is our O-line good? No. Has it been bad a while? Yes. But is it the worst O-line in the league? Is it not virtually the same O-line that we went to the not the championship, but the playoffs with? Swap out a piece here and there. This O-line might have been better than the one we went to the playoffs with. What's the problem, really? Well, guys, I've been trying to tell you guys about Trevor Lawrence since his college days. A lot of people can't seem to look past the hair, the 6'6", the athleticism, and some of the beautiful passes he throws. Here's the problem, and I don't understand how I can see it and these people that make millions of dollars can't see it. The problems with Trevor Lawrence have always been there. If you go back, actually watch the games. Don't pay attention to the box score. Don't pay attention to the fact that, he threw for 300 yards in this game. He won the championship in that game. Because even when they won the championship, go look at how wide open those wide receivers were. And that was Alabama on a down year, I believe, in terms of that we weren't used to an Alabama defense being as bad as that defense was. And remember, just pay attention to some of the throws, right? So some of his big plays aren't plays where he's like, oh man, he really threw that guy open, or he threaded the needle between these guys here and there. A lot of his plays, if you look at the play and ask yourself, if that was Sauce Gardner, does that play happen? If that was Jalen Ramsey, does that play happen? Right? Because what Trevor Lawrence is kind of actually the polar opposite of a Mac Jones, which is why I think Mac Jones might make the offense look better as the season goes on. Not to say that he's a better player. I just think he fits what Doug does more, or Press, or who knows what Press does. But Trevor Lawrence is not a eviscerator of defenses, meaning he's not like a Tom Brady. He's not going to pop and meticulously trickle the ball down the field, right? He's not that kind of quarterback. He's a drop back and let it go quarterback. Like, he wants to drive the ball downfield. Think Brett Favre. The problem with that is the O-line isn't good enough to allow that kind of time. It's something I thought about when we went the route that we went through, when we drafted Brian Thomas, when we drafted Gabe Davis. It was clear we want to get the ball more downfield and maybe tailor the offense more to Trevor's strengths, which is driving the ball downfield. Here's the problem. Trevor Lawrence has regressed. Trevor Lawrence had that good season, and if you guys remember, Trevor Lawrence has been turning the ball over left and right his entire career. If you guys remember the year we went to the playoffs with Trevor, we were 2-6, and then we went on a run. I believe we went on a run after the London game that we played the Broncos. I think he threw a couple picks that game, and particularly in the red zone. Up until that point, he had a penchant for just throwing the ball away in the red zone. And it's because he doesn't see the field, right? He kind of predetermines where he's going, and that's kind of always been his game. He's not a he's not an accuracy guy. There we go. He's not an accuracy guy. He's a let my athletes make a shot, 50-50 ball, let my athletes make a play kind of guy. And it's good, in the NFL, you can't do that. You have to know where you're going. Now, let me give you the perfect example. We played Green Bay 3 games ago now. Excuse me, I've been a little under the weather. Everybody was talking about that Evan Ingram catch, right? And how great it was. Somebody even said it was an elite throw, which is crazy talk, right? Because all Trevor did was throw it up. Any quarterback can do that. Now, because Evan Ingram did all the work, is my point. It was triple covered, right? And what I tried to explain to this person was, well, if Trevor knew what he was doing, he shouldn't have threw that ball. And that's the thing I want people to focus on, is the why certain things happen, right? Sometimes you look at a box score and you don't get the why. And you look at the result instead of understanding the why, because the why can help you understand whether something's going to be successful in the future. So here's the why I bring up the Green Bay play with Evan Ingram. He threw it in triple coverage. The reason he threw it in triple coverage is because he had no idea it was cover 3. Go back and watch the play. I believe it's cover 3. I'm almost certain it was cover 3. The reason I say that is because it was single high safety, and Jair Alexander almost picks this ball off, but the only reason he didn't is because there was a wide receiver, I think it was Parker Washington, in his zone initially he was paying attention to, but Parker Washington ran it out. And the second Jair Alexander saw it was an out, he jetted to the end zone, almost undercuts that pass. That tells me that it was cover 3, right? And not just that. If you look to the left side of the field, Tim Jones, number 15, I think he is, was on the left side of the field. Trevor Lawrence just locked on to Evan Ingram and decided that's the pass I'm throwing. Jair Alexander was late, and so was the safety. That play should have been intercepted. It wasn't a good decision to throw that pass. It worked out. I'm glad we got the touchdown, but it was not a good decision to throw that pass. Go back and watch that play, because there was a video, somebody cut it up. It's like a 15-second cut up where they're showing the play from Trevor Lawrence's vantage point, right? If you look to the left, Tim Jones is wide open for a walk-in touchdown. And the reason I think it's cover 3 is because the corner didn't follow Tim Jones inside. And the reason that would be is because cover 3 is basically everybody takes a third deep. It's 3 deep, basically. So Jair Alexander was supposed to cover a third of the field. The other corner was supposed to cover another third of the field. And the center was supposed to be in the middle covering that third of the field. The reason the safety was late was because, obviously you have to decipher what's going on. And in the red zone, you have to make a quick call. The second he saw he locked on to Evan Ingram, he jetted to go guard Evan Ingram. If Trevor Lawrence knew that was cover 3 before the play, or at least read that it was cover 3 once he snapped it, he would have knew Tim Jones was there for a walk-in touchdown, because the corner stayed outside leverage. So walk-in touchdown because the safety abandoned the zone, and Trevor Lawrence just threw a lollipop up to Evan Ingram. It worked out. Now, I hope you guys followed that, because I know it's a lot. But my point is, he's not reading the field. And that's the thing that coaches hate. I'm sure Doug Peterson hates that shit. Remember, at the end of the game, Doug Peterson praised everybody else but Trevor Lawrence, and everybody was talking about it. And it's because of that. It's like, yeah, it worked out, but this guy won't do what I tell him to do. You don't think in video that he's pointing that out? That guy was wide open. If you do this again, it's going to be a pick. Fast forward, the next week he throws a game-ending pick to fucking the third string running back against the Eagles. It's not a coincidence. The very next week he threw that pick and screwed everything up, right? And that's what I'm talking about with Trevor Lawrence. If you go back, watch the LSU championship game. I didn't expect Trevor Lawrence to win that game. But if you watch that game, I wanted to see, and this is how you should grade quarterbacks, is how they handle situational football. He's playing superior talent. He's playing an NFL caliber team, basically. That's what LSU was. And I didn't expect him to win. I expected him to look like he belonged. Now, did he look like garbage? No. But I think he was like 50% that game, which is not great at all. In fact, it's not good. And he overthrew everything. Overthrew, underthrew. And it's partly because he's not a natural athlete. He's not very coordinated. And so when he sped up, because he's so tall, he has to really focus on his mechanics. And that's when he had that good year. The problem is he had that good year and he's reverted back to his sloppy mechanics. And you're seeing him overthrow, underthrow, inaccurate issues. And now he's throwing picks again. That's all I got for now, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. I don't know what the answer is. Let me know what y'all think. Peace.